Alex Jones, the thriller, is actually taking the fourth hour off. He's turned things over to Jack Posobiec. So I'm going to do a good job for him. I'm going to make sure that we break all of this news. I get it out to you guys. Alex is over. He's researching. He's explaining a lot of things that are going on. He's conversing with his sources. Now we're going to have me come forward. Because I've got explosive breaking news that you guys all need to hear. And we're going to be talking about everybody's favorite group to hate, Antifa. Ladies and gentlemen, we've actually been able to break down now the funding for Antifa, the flow where it comes from. Now, we've been talking about in the past how money had flown from George Soros and George Soros's coffers, his hedge fund money, all the way to these front groups for Antifa. Groups like Color of Change, groups like Smash Fascism, groups like By All Means. Those were the ones in the past that have been supporting Antifa. So we were very careful in keeping an eye on those groups. And Peter Hassan over at Daily Caller, he did a great investigative job pouring through Federal Election Commission reports to see where these groups were getting their funding, to see where it's all coming from. And now the breaking news is that $800,000 of their money is coming from none other than Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton's dark money PAC, Onward Together. Now, this is a group that she started after the election, okay? She started this back in May. This was supposed to be her big coming out story. She came out of the woods. You guys remember she was going into the woods all the time with her husband, and she kept popping up here and there like Pennywise the Clown. Well, we are now finding out that $800,000 from her initial campaign. So people donated to Hillary Clinton's campaign, right? And if you donated to Hillary's campaign, you may have just been a rank and file Democrat. You didn't support any of these extreme alt-left groups. You didn't support the violence in the streets. You just wanted to support a political candidate. Well, what Hillary Clinton has done is she's taken that money, turned it over to her dark PAC, her dark money PAC, Onward Together. We call it a dark money PAC because it doesn't have her name on it. It doesn't have a direct association with her campaign, but we all know that it's essentially the same people running it, right? She's still calling the shots when it comes down to it, the same way that she was doing this with the Bob Kramer groups and the bird dogging that Project Veritas completely broke apart during the 2016 election and their excellent sting operations. Now we found that the $800,000, and Matt, that's the same number as the people on DACA right now. So instead of giving money to DACA, instead of giving $1 to every single one of these DACA recipients, what she's doing instead is turning and giving it over to Antifa. Now, I would love if someone were to go up to Hillary at one of these events that she's having these book signings. She was just over in Costco in the toilet section, or excuse me, toilet paper section. Let's be true. We don't want to be fake news. We're gonna put the facts and let the facts lie where they lie. Hillary Clinton was in the toilet paper aisle yesterday at Costco, which is a sentence that is actually true in 2017. But instead of raising money for causes like the hurricane, for causes like Hurricane Irma, Hurricane Harvey, for the poor, for impoverished, for inner cities. No. She's giving money instead to Antifa. She's hiding behind her giant toilet paper wall and handing money over to Antifa. So the question now becomes, is Hillary Clinton the leader of Antifa, right? We all thought it was George Soros in the past, but now has Hillary Clinton risen to take upon that mantle, to take on that role, because she couldn't win the presidency? And now the only roles that she's finding herself around are toilet paper rolls. I gotta tell you guys, I'll be here all week. I write my own material on the Jack Posobiec show. I'm just kidding. So all of the violence, though, let's get serious for a second. All of the violence that Antifa has perpetrated, the attacks on police officers, the attacks on Trump supporters, the attacks on freedom of speech. Now Hillary Clinton is the candidate for president. We're not talking about some, hugely circuitous route, the money laundering, all this stuff, sting operations. They're doing it brazenly, and they're doing it in the open. They're doing it because they think they can get away with it. They're doing it because they used to have James Comey as their bag man, who covered up all of the crimes, who refused to prosecute. We found out that his evaluation was written before the investigation was over that was going to let her off the hook. But now she's not going to be let off the hook, because we're doing the investigation, because people like Daily Caller are out there. And I urge you guys to go to their site, to go to the other sites and check this out. The info war continues. The info war completely continues, and we are not going to stop going after Hillary Clinton, and going after the sources of money for groups like Antifa. We are going to hold their feet to the fire. We're going to let people know what's going on in this country. We are going to let people know, and we're going to follow the money because we know that the buck doesn't stop unless we stop it. Be right back.
In ancient times, man roamed the earth in a constant state of hunting or being hunted. Introducing Caveman, where cutting-edge science meets ancient super nutrients. Secure your bottle right now at InfoWarsStore.com.